Hey, it's Thomas here, and today we're going to do a quick review on the Bubble Magus T01 dosing pump. If you're looking for an affordable, simple, and effective digital doser with enough pumps to cover the major 3 elements, that's also expandable up to 7 or even 11 pumps to cover all of your current and future dosing needs with built-in safety features and has been used by thousands of reefers for over a decade, then you should definitely check out the Bubble Magus T01. Very well acquainted with this pump. Dosing major, minor, and trace elements is a rudimentary part of reef keeping. Maintaining optimal levels of calcium, alkalinity, and other elements is crucial for keeping happy, healthy corals with great growth and coloration. And while it's easy enough to dose 2-part by hand, more and more reefers are automating their dosing with dosing pumps, not only because it helps reefers who are short on time make sure their tanks are being dosed regularly hands-free, but also because dosing pumps are a great tool for keeping parameters as stable as possible, minimizing swings, and helping to improve overall coral health and growth by making sure they have all of the elements they need at optimal levels at all times. The T01 has been around for over a decade and is one of the first reliable digital dosing pumps made available to reefers. Thousands of reefers have put it to the test. It's simple, effective, easy to maintain without tools, and able to dose between 1 and 1,999 milliliters a day, either all at once or broken up into cycles throughout the day. It is a great option for dosing the major 3, calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium, right out of the box, and also expandable up to 7 or even 11 dosing pump channels by adding 1 or 2 T02 dosers to cover anything and everything from major, minor, and trace elements to aminos, planktonic foods, and just about any other liquid additive. And I'll also tell you what sets it apart from the newer T11 and TS1 pumps so that you can figure out which one's going to best suit your needs and make an educated decision. But first, let's get this one out of the box. In the box, you'll find the T01 doser, the power supply and power cord, and just about 10 feet of tubing. Setting it up is easy and the instructions are straightforward, but before you program the doser to start automating that dosing for you, you need to know what the daily consumption rate is of the additives that you're going to be getting the doser to dose for you, which I'll touch on how to calculate that in a little bit, but assuming you already know what the daily amount is, this is how you're going to program your doser. First, if there's nowhere convenient around or in your stand to put the T01, Bubble Magus has a great dosing pump bracket you can pick up. Otherwise, just set it down somewhere near the tank that's sturdy and dry. First, plug it in, then set the clock. Next, attach the tubing. Select the pump you want to set. Then set the number of milliliters you want that pump to dose per day. Next, you can set the number of cycles if you'd like it to split up that daily dose over the course of the day. The number of cycles you can split it into will depend on how many milliliters you're dosing. After that, you can program what time of day you'd like that pump to start dosing, which is great for when you're dosing 2-part like calcium and alkalinity to make sure that they aren't too close together. Lastly, set the intake tube into the dosing container or additive bottle and prime the tubes using manual mode. Then you're officially dosing hands-free. Keep in mind, you still want to test periodically to make sure your parameters are not creeping up or down, since lighting, flow, and changes in the system can affect coral growth, and naturally, when corals get larger and grow faster, elements are consumed faster, and you'll want to be able to adjust the dosing pump to compensate. Like I mentioned, the T01 also has safety features built in. Firstly, it's going to save the time and your settings and store them, so in the event the unit loses power, whether you unplug it to move it or do some maintenance, or if there's a power loss at your home, it will be able to resume where it left off when the power comes back on. It will also not allow any 2 dosing pumps to run at the same time, making sure that you don't accidentally add both calcium and alkalinity simultaneously, preventing any accidental precipitation. Even if you were to accidentally set all of the pumps to dose at the exact same time, the Bubble Magus is automatically going to stagger them by 5 minutes. One, then the other, then the other. If you have the expansions, then the other and the other and the other. As promised, the big difference between the T01 and the T11 models are essentially the housing or the case. The T11 is a bit chunkier and is more moisture resistant than the original, so if you have no choice but to have your dosing system close to your sump or other areas that are more prone to splashes or spray, it's likely worth the upgrade for the $20 difference. It is important to note, however, that the expansions are not interchangeable between the T01 and the T11. The T02 has to be used with the T01 and the T12 has to be used with the T11. If you try to mix them up, they won't work. For those of you who only need 1 or 2 dosing pumps at most, the TS1 and TS2 are a great option that basically allow you to get the T01 or T11 performance, but only pay for the 1 or 2 pumps you actually need. These are an excellent option if you're using all for Reef or a similar 1-part calcium and alkalinity additive, or if you're using traditional 2-part and rely on water changes or occasional dosing by hand for magnesium and trace elements. Personally though, I feel like there's always a use for that 3rd pump, whether it's for magnesium or aminos. You can always find a good reason to use it. Now, like I mentioned earlier, calculating your tank's daily consumption rate for a particular element that you're going to put on your auto doser is extremely important if you want your doser to be able to dose correctly and keep that parameter stable. Thankfully, Ryan's got an awesome video breaking down how you can calculate your tank's 2-part consumption rate so that you know exactly what you need to dose on a daily basis, which means you can set that up properly and you can check it out right here. It's not hard, it's just if you know how to do it and you do it right, you're gold. If you don't do it right, it just means you gotta fuss around with this more often, and you shouldn't have to, so check it out.